What's going on, everybody? This is Clark Beckham, and you are watching the Idol Breakdown. Let's go. You make me feel some sort of nostalgia. First of all, let's hit the elephant in the room, specifically on my face. I did not forget to wipe my mouth. This is not food on my lip. I got my lip busted, and it's just a little bruised. So now that that's out of the way, let's talk about Haven Madison.
What if it's all a game and nothing's ever gonna change? What if I want it now?
What a great way to start. She comes in, she's very young, and that's what her song's about. She sings, and I love the song. The song's, I feel like how every 15-year-old feels who has a lot of talent and sings. Almost everyone that talks to them are like, man, that was great. In a couple years, watch out. And she's saying in this song, what if I don't want to wait a couple years? What about right now? And she's putting her money where her mouth is. She's crushed her audition, and she landed the opening spot of the premiere. So good for her. That being said, I do think she's going to grow into her voice more and more and more. And I think I hate that I'm making myself the antagonist of her song right now, but I think in 3 years, she's going to be a completely different singer in the best way. That being said, I think she's ready now. I think she's going to be better in a couple years. I hate that I just said that, but I think it's true. Lucy Love.
You're wondering how I knew about your plans to make me blue. I've been in so many places in my life and time.
Comes in with a ton of energy, very theatrical. Physically, she sounds soulful, R&B, doesn't sound theater-esque, but she is doing a lot of emotions with her body and eyes and face and hands and features like that. And I love, when Lionel gets real, things get real. He's as good as it gets when he really starts to talk into somebody, like call somebody out, like, hey, a lot of people need the gimmicks to make it work. The comedy act, he called it. You don't. How about you stop all that and just sing me a song? Straight up. And he said it because he knew that she could take it, and he knew that she really did have something special there underneath all of the theatrics. And he was right. She crushed. She sang that Donny Hathaway song, which is the perfect song for exactly what he asked for. A lot of her runs, for a second, she was getting in the habit of landing on one every time. And so instead of ending the run on a cool note, she would have the habit of continuing it all the way down to da-da-da, 1, like the key of the song. So instead of something like, she would go, and it's cool, like there's more notes. But when it was like 3 runs in a row, that would hit this really cool moment, and then down to 1, same landing spot. It's a habit, I think, of gospel singers when they do runs. But at the end, she hit some good ones, but it's just something I noticed. Gimmick time with Luke Bryan, Katy Perry, Lionel /L Rich, and Ryan Seacrest. It is crazy that all of them had the names. It's kind of irrelevant because none of them made it to Hollywood. There are a lot of gimmicks in this episode, but I'll say I don't mind all of them. Like, some of them are actually pretty good. And the judges, for the most part, are maybe the best gimmickers, if that's a word, of any judge trio ever. All judges have always done the gimmicky stuff, but they're really good at it. Still, some of them roll my eyes. I thought it was weird that they all had the same names, but I thought it was a little bit of a waste of time. Colin Stough, I think it's how you say his name.
Let it be a simple kind of man.
Right when he started talking, Chanley wasn't even looking at the screen, and she said, he's gonna win. It's because he's that good old, authentic, country boy, aw shucks kind of guy, wrangling horses. You know what I mean? Is he an idol cliche? Yes. Is that his fault? No. Is he actually good? Yes. He's really, really, actually really good. He hit the verse to show that he could do all of the soft stuff really well. And then he hit the chorus and crushed those notes and showed us that he had some power and rasp and dirt in his voice when he wanted to have it. Yeah, he's the good old country boy that everyone falls in love with and usually wins. But he's really, 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 actually really, really good. And a good guitar player, too. Lyric Medeiros, is someone to say her name?
Oh, hey, boy with your hair back. I kinda like that. If you wanna walk my way.
She was good. Poor girl. Oh my goodness. I thought she was sweet. Had a nice voice. The judges just, especially Katie, I was like, whoa. When Katie was like, you flew 10 hours to play it safe because you're on your way for a 10-hour ride back right now. I guess you could say, though, that would be better than just listening to her and saying no, because she could have very well done that. But she pressed into her, and then, I don't know if it's me, but with what she was wearing when she like came out of the judge's table and like waltzed toward her, grabbed her, she was terrifying, like all black, had some stuff hanging off her, I think, and it's just scary looking. She grabbed her, and hey, Lyric just kept on singing and was like, yeah, I'm into it, and just went with it. So good for her. She did get a little more meat in her voice, it sounded like, when they were borderline assaulting her. But honestly, I'm most impressed that she just hung with it through all the judges' attacks. Zachariah Smith.
When I was a young boy,
Holy crap-oly.
said put away those young boys.
The Colin Zachariah gimmick, that was obviously the most scripted scene I've ever seen on American Idol. They usually don't do stuff like that, but it's like, obviously that was scripted. It looked like a movie when they did it, so that was corny. But he was great. I am into it. He is dancing, ballsy, just freaking believes in whatever he's doing and goes for it. I wish I had that much confidence and that much swagger to do what he just did. And he's got the voice to back it up. Ian Tongi.
Don't be afraid, it's my turn to chase the monsters away.
Oh man, this one broke my heart. Just a couple months away from his father's death, and then singing that song? Oh my gosh. The chase, it's don't be afraid, it's my turn to chase the monsters away. Dear Lord. And he sang it really well. His pitch was perfect. Very, very impressive was his pitch and his tone. And Luke Bryan said everything was right. You sang it, everything was right. And I totally agree. Oh my gosh, heartbreaker. And I'm so glad that he's a really good singer and player. And the emotion was so raw and real. And it really connected us. Really connected us to him and to the general emotion of that song and loss. Pulling for him. Michael Williams.
I'm feeling like I'm famous, the talk of the town. They say I've gone mad. Yeah, I've gone mad.
Looks like Tom Cruise. Looks like Tom Cruise. He sings really well. Like him a lot. He's got the goods and he knows that he has the goods and he knows how to use them. Which are all three important things to know and to do if you want to be a professional singer. You need to have the goods, you need to know what they are, and you need to know how to use them. He falsettoed a lot of the top notes at the end. Like, talking to the moon. Like, I thought he was going to crush them and then went to falsetto, which makes me question if he's got those notes in a strong belting voice if he decided not to do it. Now, he could just be wanting to show off his falsetto, which is fine. I thought he was going to do falsetto the first time and then belt it the next time, but he did a higher falsetto note, which I personally didn't think was actually called for artistically in the song. I just didn't like the note. But I get it. You want to show, your whole job there as an auditioner is to showcase everything you can do in a short amount of time. You check those boxes, but I'd love to hear some power from his voice. All that being said, I think it's there because he hit some other notes that were really strong and he seems to have really good technique. And they said he was top 10 material. I can't remember anybody where the judges said they were top 10 material and they didn't make it in the top 24, especially when they showcase their audition. So we're very likely going to see him for a long time and quite a bit. And I'm happy about it. Megan Danielle.
Am I more than just the sum of every high and every low?
Said that she was singing bars and her grandpa was like, why are you doing that? That's not you. And she felt convicted about that and felt strong about singing Christian songs, and now she's doing Christian only. I am so fascinated to see how she does and see how she navigates American Idol singing Christian songs only. I love her conviction, love her faith and her strength to stay in it, and I love her freaking voice. She sounds awesome. She's got some grit in the soft parts of her voice. Not just, a lot of people can only bring the grit and the rasp when they're really blowing. She's got that middle space that's really nice and soulful. Lauren Daigle interrupts her audition. At first, when Ryan's like, you should go in there and sing with her while she's singing, I was like, no, call it off, don't do that. It's rude. She's in her audition. She's probably freaked out. It's the moment of her life, and you're going to interrupt her and just go start singing a chorus with her. Was not into it. Lauren starts to walk out to do it, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh, that's so disrespectful. I'm so not a fan of this. And then she started singing, and I could not smile harder, and I couldn't stop that type of smile. I just couldn't stop smiling. It was so cool. And in hindsight, she'd sung enough where the judges were gonna be like, yeah, she's in. She'd already proven herself. Then Lauren came into the surprise thing, which was cool. She handled it pretty well. Lauren's great. Megan did great. She goes through. Everybody wins. Tyson Venegas.
Some folks like to get away.
Oh.
Take a holiday from the neighborhood. I've been high in the Rockies under the evergreens.
Ooh wee.
But now I need a little give and take, give and take.
Shoo! You know, I've liked everybody in this episode, but when he started singing, he just reminded me that some people come across this show and just juice me up so much. That's a hard song to play on piano too. And he knows he's got the goods. He has the goods. He knows what they are, and he knows how to use them. I can tell he's a music fanatic because I can hear all of his influences that are so strong. My notes are ooey, Uzi, platinum. He totally earned that platinum ticket. Was happy to see that. Thought that was well deserved. Something that Katie said that is so important. She said, you sang some runs that I haven't felt in my body in a long time. Not you sang some runs that I haven't heard in a long time or have never heard. Sang some runs that I've never felt. Haven't felt. That's how runs are supposed to be sung. Runs are supposed to be sung to be felt, not to be heard. And people go, ooh, wow, that was crazy. They're to be felt. And he did a masterclass on how to just ooze goodness through his runs, through his vowel closing and shaping, and he knows what he's doing. Absolute pro. Absolute pro. Jack, the doo-wop guy. Personally, I don't think the judges had a right to make any comment or any critique on his voice because they didn't listen to him. He started singing, And they immediately stood up and started doing this shoe bop thing. He's singing. This is a big deal. He's gone through like 3 callbacks to get there. And you're just going to start singing? Luke was like, you need to button up your voice a little bit. How would you know? You didn't even listen to him sing. That was rude and inappropriate. And he was pretty good. He did a lot of the H's in the middle of his runs. Like, hey, 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 hey. Which is a pet peeve of mine. Katie said he had a breathing problem. Stop. Maybe she was referring to the H's in the runs, but they didn't listen to him. And they didn't have a right to critique him because they didn't listen. Rude. Kaya Monee.
Showing my heart to the folks that I'm close to.
In the honor and memory of Willie Spence, who tragically passed away in a car accident. She was actually his duet partner in Hollywood and sang the song for him. Fire breather. Fire breather. Katie said it best. She said, you were so connected to the pain, and we were all connected to you because of how authentic you were. And the battery died. So now I'm better lit because it's the morning and I have the sun to help. As I was saying about Kaya, I cannot think of a vocal performance that I've heard ever that was more connected to the pain. And she was so authentic that should be the golden rule of vocal performance, is connecting people by your authenticity. Really high level stuff. So welcome back. I'm gonna be releasing these every Monday at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. If you wanna be a member, you can do that by hitting the join member button. Why would you do that? You would do that because we have live streams that are real time. While I watch the show, while you watch the show, you can watch me react to everything that's going on. And then in the commercials, we talk about what we see. And I get a lot of ideas from my members. Thank you, Paul. And bring in your conspiracy theories. Put them in the comments. We're gonna add those back along with viewer question. So any questions you guys have, make sure they have a question mark at the end, not just for punctuation's sake, but that's how I actually search and find all the questions in the comments. So do that. We're gonna have a great season. Maybe I'll be lit all the time. Depends if I do this at night or in the morning. But you guys just leave me comments. Tell me what you think. Happy to be back. I'll see you next week.